All right, developers, listen up. If you've got an app on the Google Play Store, well, the ground is basically shifting under your feet. Seriously. By 2026, the rules for how you make money, how you test things, and how you stay compliant, they're all changing in a big way. So in this explainer, we're going to break down the essential playbook you need to not just, survive these changes, but to actually come out on top. So you might be asking, why 2026? What's the big deal? Well, it's not some random date Google pulled out of a hat. Nope. It's really the endpoint for a bunch of new global regulations and a huge push from Google to be way more transparent. It's their response to all the pressure they've been under, and honestly, it changes the game for all of us. And this really is the one question that should be keeping you up at night, in a good way, hopefully. Is your app ready? Are you compliant? Are you set up to actually take advantage of these new rules and make more money? Or are you at risk of getting hit with penalties, or worse, getting suspended? Yeah, let's make sure you're in that first group. Okay, so here's how we're going to tackle this. We've got 4 main parts. First, we'll dive into the new monetization playbook. Then we'll talk about winning with smarter testing. After that, we'll hit on the super important topic of navigating critical compliance. And we'll finish everything off with a simple, straightforward action checklist for you. Sound good? Let's jump in. All right, first up, the 2026 monetization playbook. This is all about how you make money, from alternative billing to some really cool new advanced offers. The bottom line is Google's giving us a whole new set of tools to play with when it comes to structuring our products and billing our users. Let's dig in and see how this can boost your revenue. So, at a super high level, your strategy really splits into 2 main lanes now. On one side, you've got rentals. Think of this as low commitment, one-off value. Like renting a movie for 48 hours, or maybe getting access to a single premium article. Then on the other side, you've got subscriptions. This is the long game. It's all about high commitment, ongoing access, and building that lasting relationship with your users. Okay, this next one is a huge deal. It's called alternative billing. And what it means is that in key markets, we're talking the US, the UK, the EEA, you can actually offer your own billing system right alongside Google's. Why does this matter? Well, Google's service fee can drop to as low as 10%. I mean, think about that. That's a massive boost to your margins. This next bit requires you to kind of rewire your brain about how subscriptions are structured. See, every subscription product is now built on a core base plan. Let's say that's your standard monthly access. But then you can attach multiple targeted offers to that one base plan. It's like your base plan is the destination, and the offers are all the different doors a user can walk through to get there. This is what unlocks all the cool, sophisticated pricing strategies. And speaking of those offers, there are basically 3 main types you need to know about. Think of them as your primary tools. First, you've got free trials. These are perfect for new customers, right? Get them in the door. Second, you have introductory pricing. This is great for lowering that barrier to entry for someone who's maybe a little hesitant. And third, and this is a powerful one, you've got win-back promos to re-engage users who've churned. Each one is designed for a very specific stage of that user lifecycle. Now, what's really cool is how you can surgically target who gets what offer. For instance, the new customer offer type means a user will only see it if they've literally never had a subscription in your app before. Perfect for a free trial. The upgrade offer is for someone who's already a subscriber, maybe to move them from a bronze to a gold plan. And then there's developer determined, which is my favorite. This is where you control access with your own server logic. It's absolutely perfect for those win-back campaigns to bring lapsed users back into the fold. Okay, so you've got all these new monetization tools, right? Base plans, targeted offers, it's awesome. But how do you actually know which ones work best? Which icon gets more clicks? Which offer converts better? Well, that leads us perfectly into our next section, winning with smarter testing and how to master the 2026 store listing experiments. This is probably the single most important change to understand about A/B testing. In the old days, it was all about first-time installers. Just get the download. But now, the key metric has shifted to retained first-time installers. Google doesn't care if you get 1 million downloads if 90% of them uninstall within 5 minutes. Now, they're only counting installs from users who actually keep your app for more than 24 hours. It's a huge shift. Yeah, exactly. It really all comes down to this. Google now prioritizes quality over quantity. Let that sink in. This should guide your entire store listing strategy. It's not about tricking people with clickbait anymore. It's about being honest and attracting the right kind of user, the one who's going to find real value and stick around. So if you want to get good, clean data from your tests, you've got to follow the rules. And they're pretty simple, really. Only test one thing at a time.
Let your tests run for at least a full week so you capture that weekend traffic. And please don't call a winner until you hit that 90% confidence level. Oh, and here's the cool part. You can now test your actual offers. Pit a 7-day trial against $1 first month and see what really works. For those in emerging markets, you can even test prepaid top-up plans. It's super powerful.
Okay, let's shift gears to something you absolutely positively cannot afford to mess up. I'm talking about navigating critical compliance. Google is not playing around here. Getting these rules wrong can mean rejections, strikes against your account, or even a full suspension. So let's pay close attention. When you look at where developers get into trouble, it's usually in one of 3 areas. A whopping 45% of violations are what we'd call transparency failures, just not being super clear about your subscription terms. The next big one, at 30%, is the uninstall myth. This is where users think just deleting the app cancels their subscription. It doesn't, and you have to make that crystal clear. The last 25% are from invalid price increases. And speaking of those price increases, this is a big one. There's now a hard cap. You can't just jack up the price on your existing subscribers. Any automatic price hike can't be more than 50% of the current price, or about 17 cents per day. If you go over that, you have to get the user's explicit consent again. It's all about avoiding that nasty sticker shock. Here's another one that's totally non-negotiable. You are now required to put a direct link to the Google Play Subscriptions Center somewhere inside your app. Users have to have a super simple, easy-to-find way to manage their subs, and it's on you to provide that link. Simple as that. And you have to get this billing lifecycle timeline down perfectly. Okay, step 1, the moment a user buys something, a clock starts ticking. You have 3 days, just 3, to acknowledge that purchase from your server. If you miss that window, boom, Google auto-refunds the user and you lose the sale. Next, if a renewal fails, you have to give them a grace period, typically 7 to 14 days, where they keep full access. Only after that can you put them into account hold, where they lose access but can still easily get their subscription back. You've got to follow this process to the letter. Phew, okay, I know that was a ton of information. So let's pull it all together. Here's your essential action checklist, the key takeaways you need for 2026. All right, here it is, your 2026 to-do list. Go back and review your entire subscription transparency flow. Make it crystal clear. Implement the logic for grace periods and account holds. Switch your A/B test success metric over to retained installers. Make sure you are acknowledging all new purchases via the API within that 3-day window. Add that link to the Google Play Subscription Center. And finally, start exploring powerful offer types like those win-back campaigns. This is your homework. So where do you start? What's your very first step? Simple. Test everything safely. Google gives you a fantastic free tool called the Play Billing Lab. It lets you simulate everything we just talked about: subscriptions, price changes, renewals, with 0 risk. You can literally fast forward time and test a year's worth of subscription events in an afternoon. It is the perfect risk-free place to start putting all this into practice. Look, these 2026 changes are a big deal, for sure. But if you prepare, they're actually a massive opportunity. So get started.